Last time on Dragon Ball Kakumei, while trying to convince King Sadala, and by extension, every Saiyan of Universe 6 to join his efforts in the oncoming Universal War, we learned a little bit about the origins of the Saiyans here, and eventually, of the immense power residing with King Sadala himself. Though it would take some doing, Vegeta soon persuaded Sadala to let him train his people to defend themselves from what is to come. Now we're left to wonder what the others are up to with their own training. When will Broly arrive on the planet? How are the boys doing with Whis? And how's Gohan faring to convince the Pride Troopers to train him? This video is part of an ongoing series. Catch up fully using the links below, and also follow reenko, poissonlabo, and darkows. With his forces gathered, King Sadala announces for all of his warriors to listen well. Himself and their ancestors have fought to make peace speak for itself. But those days are unfortunately over. Everyone here was shocked by the announcement made by the Grand Priest, and now they must prove they know how to defend themselves against these fomenters of revolt. They, as Saiyans, are a people who live in a world of facts, not in a dreamlike conception of the world which surrounds them. So he ushers everyone to raise their fists and please welcome the heir to the neighboring universe. Let them both fight hand in hand. They will fight for their own. Glory to the Saiyan people. 2 days would come and go for our inter-universal travelers. Jaco happily tells everyone they've finally arrived. Opening the hatch and setting foot on Sadala. The first universe-to-universe expedition of the Galactic Patrol is complete. Gazing outward with pride, the spaceman spouts he doesn't look too bad here. A nice change from many of their rotten planets. But as we glance around, nobody else seems to share his positive attitude. Bulma quips to remind her to never try Broly's food again, referring to the giant spider-like creature he brought aboard, which was their only source of sustenance for the last 48 hours. Ignoring his passengers' groans of anguish, Jaco reaches into a pouch to continue what they've come here for. Retrieving a device, now they need to find Vegeta. He lets loose a little robot which takes to the sky, displaying technology that the modern NSA will likely make public one day soon. It's able to use facial recognition to identify everyone nearby. He figures while their technology does all the work, maybe in the meantime they'd like to get something to eat. But they all, minus Broly, are still struggling at the thought of food. The mere idea giving them flashbacks of hairy, bloody spider shawarma. Though Broly is just excited to see if they have some Udani legs, which are the tick or spider-like creatures of planet Vampa. With his laser-like focus, Jaco spots a stand labeled kebab. He thinks that sounds cool. Confidently approaching the cook, he questions if he has enough food for 5 people, which he does. Shooting his customer a glare, he asks what he can get for him. And since none of them are exactly familiar with the local cuisine, Chila and Limo keep it simple by ordering the dish of the day, though Bulma requests the Versagian salad, whatever that is, and Jaco wants the chef's specialty, this kebab thing. Turning to Broly, the cook then inquires what he wants since he's remained silent this entire time. But the giant's confused. Why does this man only serve 3 dishes? Chila told him that restaurants have lots of choices. And if we look closer, we see Broly refers to the 3 pictures of food within the menu. In an annoyed tone, the chef questions the others if he can't read or can't count, leaving him even more lost. The legendary Saiyan asks if this means this isn't a restaurant at all. Chila lets out a sigh, promising she tries to teach him these things. Sooner or later, the robot would spot Vegeta and the others on the ground below.
Audio contact in progress.
The machine contacts Jaco to let him know Vegeta's been found. Who, checking his device, looks to confirm. But being it's the Vegeta we know.
Get out, Ru.
Destroying the defenseless robot. For a moment, the patrolman sits dumbfounded, before slamming his receiver and over on the table once he puts 2 and 2 together. The cost of that robot's going to come out of his salary. Back with the prince, Cabba argues what if that was the king's? While Khalifa inquires what that thing even was. Two concerns that Vegeta simply grunts at. Freaking out, Jaco screams he's already bought a round of food and drinks for everyone while Bulma over here's just loaded. He's gonna end up broke. Scientist taking exception to this little hissy fit. She hollers at him to go and do the drone's work himself. Obviously, if he has money for fancy devices, he's not that broke. Taking off, he begins to become bothered by the fact that it seems like he's doing all the work around here. It's really starting to get boring. Flying over the central metropolis of Sadala, this feels more like a chore than anything else. A few hours ago, at Gohan's house. It seems that before he left to see the Pride Troopers, Piccolo wanted to bid him goodbye. He shakes his hand and tells him to train hard. Who intends to? And speaking of which, he motions to Videl. He'd like to take Pan to meditate, or maybe even train with him. Though she hopes he's only kidding. And he tells her that the truth is he actually did the same for Gohan, back when he was only 4 years old. He was the first serious mentor the child ever had. But she shouts those days are over and he can forget it, offering her sarcastic thanks and goodbye. While dejected, Piccolo ultimately respects her decision. Maybe next time she'll come around. And inside, it looks like Gohan's more blown away than anybody by his wife's fierce reaction, possibly getting flashbacks of his own mother. Walking off and appearing rather proud of herself, she tells Gohan to go and get ready. They're going to be joining Bulma and Vegeta soon. The youngster can't help but ask what's wrong with her mom, and where did Piccolo have to go off to? Unfortunately, Videl only calls that it's time for her to take her nap now. Gohan eventually lets out a reluctant chuckle at the situation. Now genuinely thinking back to Chi-Chi when he was Pan's age, he chortles that he bets she's gonna grow up to be just the same one day. A few moments pass and Pan is seen looking at a book in bed. Hearing a tap on her door. She frantically turns off the lights and tosses the book, knowing full well she's supposed to be sleeping. Opening the door, her father. Spotting the book on the ground, he lets out a smile. He sits down on the side of her bed and pretty much calls her out that she was reading longer than she was supposed to, wasn't she? This is met with a ballad of fake snoring. He assures her there's no point in pretending to sleep. Her snores are awful. In her defeat, this actually upsets her as she sits up and apologizes. Being the softie he is and seeing he upset her, he takes a moment to sit with his child. He explains that what he's about to tell her is really important, and it's going to be useful for the rest of her life. People will always try to impose their vision on her. What really matters is what she wants in her heart of hearts, so never let anyone tell her what to do. She's pure of heart. He's sure she'll never hurt anyone. This clearly mirroring Gohan's own childhood. Unfortunately, a lot of this is lost on her. She asks why he's saying all these weird words. That's when he remembers she's only 3, who adorably argues she'll be 3.5 soon. Knowing the training ahead of him, he gives his daughter a kiss goodnight, telling her to sleep well. Back on Sadala, Jaco stomps down right before Vegeta, snarkily interrogating if he just so happened to have recently destroyed a very expensive gadget by chance. Bluntly, the Saiyan snarls he doesn't care about his stupid gadget, and what does he want with him? And what he wants? He had to travel for 2 days for his wife and 3 scoundrels! That's when it registers with Vegeta. Oh yeah, that was part of the plan too. Heading over to the others, Caulifla scoffs that she doesn't even know what they're all doing here. And spotting the gang she was just hoping to see, Bulma greets him with a big smile. Cabba being the only one to walk up to her and say hello properly. But that could be because she doesn't think Vegeta has mentioned these other 2 before. Caulifla taking offense to this great affront, snarking that's not cool. The prince chuckles a bit while commenting. He didn't want to bother his wife talking about disgusting individuals such as themselves. Causing the predictable, "You're joking, right?" Almost as if she got her feelings hurt, Caulifla sulks off. She pouts how that made her mad and she's gonna go head home. Bulma shoots her husband a death stare, but he seems pretty satisfied with the effects his words had. When Cabot looks at his invisible watch in a panic. How inconvenient! It's getting late. He just remembered he had something to do. He has to go. Right now. See ya! Not fooling anyone and only wanting to avoid this awkward situation, Vegeta swears only cowards live on this planet. Given her already timid nature, Kale thinks it'd be best if she went too. But Bulma then directs her fury towards her instead of her husband. She's just going to run away now too? Who does she think will guide him around this planet if she leaves? Jumping back to her bubbly attitude, she says it'll be fun. That's when the inevitable happens. The female Broly locks eyes with the Broly. Romance aside, what's the game plan now that Broly joins Vegeta and the others on planet Sadala? Will it be up to him to get Kappa, Caulifla, and Kale into shape as Vegeta trains the entire Saiyan army? Or does the prince plan to train everyone himself at once?